All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about the Eagles-Ravens game for Sunday. It's a big game. Ravens coming in at 8-4, Eagles coming in at 9-2, and yeah, you got both teams playing well. Eagles continue to win games, but the thing I want to talk about first is the running backs. Um, Last year, the Ravens had J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. Eagles had DeAndre Swift, who did a nice job for them. He rushed for over 1,000 yards, I believe. But both teams wanted to improve that position, and they both knocked it out of the park with the running back signings. I did talk about Josh Jacobs in the first segment. He's also been a home run as well. But when you look at the two running backs here and their seasons between Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, they have been unbelievable. They have been difference makers for both of these teams. And, we saw, Derrick Henry did not, that's the next segment. Derrick Henry didn't have a great game. Well, no, actually, he ran the ball for over 140 yards. Didn't score a touchdown in the game, but he's been unbelievable. Saquon Barkley, the game he had the other night, 255 yards rushing, had 300 yards of total offense for him. It's just, they have both been great. And, they're both in the MVP conversation. Now, I think more so Saquon because of the game that he had the other night. But both of these players are up for Offensive Player of the Year, definitely. I know when it comes to MVP, typically that's going to go to a quarterback, but, don't be surprised. This could be the year that maybe, I know I said this last year, but maybe it's the year they give it to a non-quarterback. This could be the year to do it. Obviously, Saquon, is better in the receiving game, but Derrick Henry has him beat in touchdowns. Saquon, a couple more attempts, does beat him in rushing yards at the moment, and, in terms of average yards per carry, has him beat there by a little bit. But both these guys have been unbelievable, and, barring any injuries, knock on wood, they're both going to rush for over 2,000. They're going to get to 2,000 yards. It's going to be close, but I think they're both going to get it. I think Derrick Henry has another 200-yard game in him at some point. Saquon, I think, should get it. I think they're both going to get there. It's going to be close, but I think they should get it. And, we'll see how many touchdowns they end up with at the end of the year. They have Derrick Henry has a receiving touchdown this year. Saquon's got a few as well. But they've been difference makers. And, to get to see these two guys and their teams go at it, it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be a high-scoring game between these two teams, and I'm looking forward to it. But I just wanted to highlight the two running backs because they have been special this year. And, that's coming from me as a Giant fan who has to watch Saquon Barkley. But you know what? I still get to root for him. You know why? Because I have him in a couple of fantasy leagues. Now, we fell a little bit short in one, but I did win by a point in another one. So, and I was going up against Derrick Henry. So, this will be the second time that they will be facing off just now, real life and not in my little world of fantasy football. But to kind of look at this game, what I've been impressed with is the Eagles' defense. I've talked about it in recent weeks. Their defense has really been stepping up. I know they did lose Brandon Graham for the season, but from the secondary to the front seven, this is a solid unit, and they're going to have their hands full with this offense of the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Mark Andrews had a good game against the Chargers recently. You're going to have to deal with him. Zay Flowers. Still waiting for Deontay Johnson to kind of get it going with the Ravens. But, Rashad Bateman's had a good year as well. He caught another touchdown pass from Lamar on Monday. So this will be a test for the Eagles defense and how will they respond They did go up against a very good Rams offense, but now it's a little bit different, though, because you go from Matthew Stafford, who's, a pocket passer, to Lamar Jackson, who could take off and run with it himself. And you also got Derrick Henry you got to deal with. And, Henry is going to have a good game, I would imagine. So I expect both offenses to be able to move the ball and this to be a high-scoring game. And then on the other side, Jalen Hurts is not playing as well as Lamar Jackson, not in that MVP conversation, but one of the biggest concerns with Jalen Hurts is that, he's had a turnover problem. But that's kind of been solved as of late. Hasn't really been turning the ball over, has been taking care of it. So that's a very good sign. And how will the Ravens and their defense? They're going to have their hands full with this Eagles offense. We'll see if they get Devontae Smith back for this game. That'll help. Of course, you got to deal with A.J.Brown, Dallas Goedert, who's also a good tight end. And then, of course, you have Saquon Barkley. Now, the Ravens are a good team at stopping the run. But they're going to have their hands full. This is going to be a test for them going up against Saquon Barkley, who's having a big year as well. And to kind of look at the league rankings, the comparisons between the two teams, to go through it here. So, passing yards per game, Ravens are 7th, Eagles are 22nd. Both teams, top two. You got the Ravens, who are 2nd, averaging 180.2 rushing yards per game, and the Eagles are 1st, averaging 193.4. So, both teams are going to find success in the running game, I have a feeling. And they're both top 10 in points per game. The Ravens are 2nd, Eagles are 7th. Then defensively, the Eagles defense is 2nd against the pass, holding opposing quarterbacks to under 200 yards passing, 196.9 passing yards per game. And then the Ravens defense is dead last, giving up an average of 297.4 passing yards per game. And then against the run, both teams are actually top 10. Ravens are 2nd, Eagles are 7th, and then points allowed, Eagles defense is 6th, Ravens defense is 23rd. So you kind of lean towards the Ravens in this game. The line was at 2.5. It actually did go up to 3. This is a tough game to pick. I like the Ravens to win because they're at home. I know in my spread pool, I think the line is still at 2.5. I just want to do a quick check. Yeah, so it's still 2.5. It's close. I mean, right now the Eagles are coming in. I think you might have to lean towards them as maybe being the better team because they have the better defense. But I don't know. I feel like Lamar Jackson will step up in this game. And, Jalen Hurts is going to have to step up. Because, you know what, if Saquon Barkley is not getting the job done, if the Ravens are really shutting him down in this game, Hurts is going to have to step up and make plays. And I kind of trust Lamar Jackson to make more plays in this game than I do Jalen Hurts. Like I said, Hurts has done well at taking care of the football. And you know what? Jalen Hurts does have the weapons that, he can keep up with Lamar Jackson if, the running backs are not able to get anything going. But I think right now Lamar Jackson is playing the position better. He's an MVP candidate once again. And, then again, Jalen Hurts is going up against a weaker defense. Lamar Jackson is going up against a better defense. So, everything kind of balances out. But I'm going to say the Ravens do win this game. And I think they win by, right now the line is 3. Could be a 3-point game. So I guess maybe, that's what they could win by. Maybe Justin Tucker kicks a game-winning field goal. But this is a game I am really looking forward to. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. This should have been the game that ended off Thanksgiving. I think the NFL really has to take a long look at these Thanksgiving games. Now, I'm not saying you knock off the Lions and the Cowboys, but I think you got to give us. The Bears-Lions game I think will be good, but I don't think the Giants should be playing on Thanksgiving. They've been playing on holidays 3 years in a row now. You shouldn't be doing that. The NFL should not be doing that. I think you got to give the Cowboys a juicy matchup. I think Philadelphia would have been. Obviously, they did play a few weeks ago, and the Eagles destroyed them, but going forward, I think we need to have some better matchups. Because I know there was like, I think 2 years in a row, they gave us Saints Falcons as the nightcapper, and it's why. I think Dolphins Packers is going to be good, but imagine this game being the last game on Thanksgiving. I mean, the ratings would be through the roof. But this will be a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo vehicle, so they'll be calling this game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game. I think both quarterbacks will have their fair share of plays, and both running backs as well. We'll see. But I like the Ravens to win this game being at home. I think the Eagles are due for a loss at this point. But you know what? If they continue to roll, this team is very dangerous. And, I mean, sign me up for a Lions-Eagles NFC Championship game. Now, I know that's weird coming from a Giant fan, but I just want to see how these two teams would match up against each other right now. Because right now, I think other than Detroit, the Eagles are the second best team in the NFC. They have cemented that right now. So, let me know what you guys think, though, about this game. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comments. I think it'll be a very competitive game. I think the Ravens' defense is going to have to step up. They did play better against the Chargers, but, the Eagles' offense is better, and you're going to have to deal with A.J.Brown and probably Devontae Smith and, of course, Saquon Barkley. So we'll see how they respond to that. So we are going to take our next break, and then when we come back, we will talk about the 49ers-Bills game on Sunday Night Football. We'll get into that. So make sure to stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.